What's going on, Minties? The Uncanny Omar here from Near Mint Condition, and today I'm going to do an advanced view of the Venom by Donny Cates oversized hardcover. So please stay tuned. Okay, before we get started, I'd like to say a quick thank you to David Gabriel and the folks at Marvel for sending us an advanced copy of the book, because the book will be available on November 6th at places like cheap graphic novels and comic book stores, and then a couple of weeks later at places like Amazon. So, speaking of cheap graphic novels, here's a quick word from our sponsor. This episode is sponsored by cheapgraphicnovels.com, your online home for brand new graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off the cover price. Cheap Graphic Novels prides itself on packaging your books so they arrive safely and in excellent condition, as well as prompt and helpful service. And check out their bargain bin for even greater deals up to 90% off cover price. And for you Minties, Cheap Graphic Novels is running a special promotion. If you're a first-time customer, let them know you were referred by Near Mint Condition at the checkout, and you'll receive a credit for free shipping on your next order. Now, this is only for U.S. customers. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discounts, quality shipping, and customer service that will keep you coming back for more. Okay, now let's take a look at the book a little bit closer. Here's the spine. Venom by Cates, Ryan Stegman, and others. Volume 1. Always love when I see a volume 1, which gives me hope for more oversized hardcovers or further volumes to come in the future. Now let's look at it without the dust jacket. You have this image of Venom with Miles Morales flying around. So, spoilers, maybe. Okay, let's take a look inside the book. Interesting that they went with white instead of black or red, which is what I usually saw. I think from that Venom omnibus. The contents of the book are issues 1 through 12 of the 2018 series. Written by Donny Cates, drawn by most of this Ryan Stegman, Iban Coelho, and Joshua Casara. But actually, let's give a little shout out to Frank Martin and those folks, because the colors are freaking amazing. And also, let's not forget our collected editions department, because without these folks, we would not be holding this oversized hardcover. And speaking of oversized hardcovers, I want to talk a little bit about that, because it's really weird. If you had told me that we were getting a Venom oversized hardcover, an Immortal Hulk oversized hardcover, a Doctor Strange oversized hardcover last year, I would have been like, no way. The oversized hardcover lines are dead. And if you're not familiar with this OHC line, the oversized hardcovers, they are as tall as an omnibus. They're just not as thick, of course, because the retail price of this is $34.99, and that's for 12 issues. Of course, issue 1 being supersized, or I guess longer than usual. But yes, if you're not familiar with that term, oversized means that they are as tall as those omnibuses, and just not as long, not as thick, if you will. Man, by the way, if you have not read the series, it is awesome, and I know this is not a review of the book, but I can't help myself with some of these books that I do overviews of. I try to keep it just like turning the pages so you can look at the pretty artwork, but sometimes it's important for me, at least, to talk about how much I've enjoyed the stories. And this is one that I really, really enjoyed, because he was able to take a character, Donny Cates, this guy who had wrote God Country and all these little independent books like The Paybacks, and then just blew up when he came over to Marvel. He did Doctor Strange, he's doing Guardians of the Galaxy, but he's eventually being replaced by Al Ewing, and he did the Thanos book, which introduced the character of Cosmic Ghost Rider. And here is Null, speaking of introducing characters. I don't even know what my point was. What was my point? Oh, how much I like this book. Yeah, this was a solid read. I enjoyed it. This artwork by Ryan Stegman is absolutely stunning. But anyway, that was my point. I really thought the oversized hardcover line was dead. I didn't think they were going to do any more. And then I started seeing more, because I thought the only line that was still alive in that format was the Thor books. But then we started getting Doctor Strange, we got Immortal Hulk, we got... And by the way, Marvel seems to really love Donny Cates, and I don't blame them. Because, holy crap, most of the stuff that I've read by him, with a couple of independent things, but regardless, not a review, but is really damn good. And he's able to take the character of Venom, who's been around since the 80s, like late 80s, I want to say 88, since Amazing Spider-Man 300, and Eddie Brock, and just adding so much new mythos into his background and adding new elements that hasn't been explored yet. Yes, Venom's been to space. Venom's been under Rick Remender. He's been Flash Thompson and he's been a kind of a almost Punisher-like character. But where he takes Venom in this book, just, I don't know, it's one of those things that, damn, why didn't I think of that? Or why hasn't this been thought of before? Now, if you notice the back here, because I don't think it's going to spoil anything, especially when you're looking at it, that character is the Maker. And the Maker, of course, is the character from the Ultimate Universe who played a bigger, menacing role in Secret Wars, Jonathan Hickman's Secret Wars. He is the counterpart, the evil counterpart, if you will, of Reed Richards, in case you're a little bit confused as to who that character is, because he appears also in Absolute Carnage. So speaking of Absolute Carnage, man, I can't wait for an oversized hardcover. I know they've announced a trade paperback, but just looking at this oversized artwork by Ryan Stegman, holy crap. He has this amazing mix. So let's talk about that really quick, the artwork. He has this amazing mix of like Todd McFarlane, a little bit of like Joe Madureira in that it has a little bit of the anime-ish look to it. David Finch, just all these artists that I look up to and really enjoy. And he kind of puts it together and makes it work somehow. I don't know how people like that can do it, but man, he makes it work. So that's all I can really say about the book. It's a great read. He introduces new elements like the god of the symbiotes, depending on, whether you're Sony or not. Now let's look at the extras. This is what happens when some of my viewers want me to keep talking a little longer and throw in a little review in there. I go on way too long, but let's look at some of this variant covers. You've got some by Pablo Rivera. I really like that one, Mike Del Mundo. I've always loved Sam Keith's take on the character ever since he was doing the Marvel Comics Presents issues. And they actually made a statue of one of his drawings, which is very similar to that one, actually. Jorge Molina. Let's see who else we got here. Humberto Ramos, Frank Cho. Oh, Humberto Ramos with a Conan variant and a Skrull variant by John Tyler Christopher. Dave Gibbons. All right, nice homage to his own Watchmen cover. And, of course, the Ryan Stegman covers. And this is the Phil Noto cover. Now, let's look at the binding. Sewn binding. And, I mean, it's absolutely perfect the way that this lays over. Now, one of the questions I know I'm going to get asked is, should you wait around for the omnibus? Me, personally, I've been collecting oversized hardcovers, and if they make an omnibus, sure, absolutely, I upgrade. But that's just me. That's not everybody. Some people are happy with trade paperbacks, and some people are happy with their oversized hardcovers. God bless, look at that. That is freaking badass. But I was going to say, and then sometimes I would think at one time Superior Spider-Man, which is Dan Slott's probably magnum opus when he was doing Spider-Man, it never got collected in an omnibus format. It got collected in oversized hardcovers, and for sure I was like, okay, I'm going to wait around and not get the hardcovers and just get the omnibus when it comes out. And I waited about a year, and I'm like, okay, I think that ship has sailed. I don't think there's going to be an omnibus, and I went ahead and got the 3 hardcovers. And they never did announce an omnibus. So I don't want that to happen with this in case you're waiting around. I mean, for the same thing, people are waiting around for the Jason Aaron Thor omnibus. Nothing's for sure, and I really don't have any inside information, but this is a beautiful way to collect this book. And like I said, I wanted to give a shout out to Martin, too, because these colors are so amazing. And that was the contents of the book. Let me know in the comments down below if you plan on picking this up, or if you've been reading the monthly comic, and if you love it and you couldn't wait for this. If you're going to wait for an omnibus perhaps sometime, that's going to be with Absolute Carnage. And of course, I'm just talking out my ass right there because I really don't know if that's what's going to happen or not. Or if you're just satisfied with these oversized hardcovers that don't seem to ever go away, which is a good thing for most of us that love oversized artwork. Again, this was the Uncanny Omar. Let me know those comments down below. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe button. Check us out on Redbubble, Patreon, and remember, if it's classy and cool, it must be near mint.